Okay. One. Tired. Sort up the stairs. Okay, just sort up the stairs so a bit out of breath. Right then, so in today's lesson for Onshape, we are going to draw a lamp. And the lamp, start again. Okay, in today's, start again. In today's lesson, we are going to draw a lamp using Onshape. The lamp would be made of strips of wood for the base. It would be a bent aluminium tube for the arm, and the shade. We will do a standard cylinder with a hole in it. It's going to be we're going to cover the basics really, so nothing too difficult. Okay, and it should end up looking something like this, but I'll draw it from scratch. Okay, so once you've signed up for Onshape using your educational account and you've used the school's phone number instead of your own to protect your data, and you don't need to install it because it's web-based. What you'll do is you'll end up with something similar to this. It will be a blank page, hopefully, and all you need to do is go to create and document, and then we'll call it something. So let's call it lamp. Okay, now because we're using the web and we're not using an app that's already pre-installed on our computer, things do take a little bit longer than other things like Fusion, for example, just because we've got to wait for the network. Now, you'll be faced, when you get to your new project, you'll be faced with three planes. That is the top plane, so this one here, and that is you looking directly down at it. So if I click top on the view cube, you can see we're looking, that's a 2D representation now of that plane. We've also got the front, which is there, and we've got the left as well. So there's your view cube. To get from back to front, you click the outside. To go to your 3Ds, you click the corners. To go directly to it, you click the word itself. So the way it works is we draw a sketch, and then we extrude that sketch into a solid, and then we start a new sketch, and we extrude that sketch, and so on until we've got all the bodies, and then we put them together. Okay, so it's very simple, and we're going to go nice and gently just so we can actually get started with Onshape, because I know it's quite new for quite a few people. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to click sketch. The sketch plane we're going to draw on for the base is going to be the top, so we're going to look down, we're going to draw our shape and extrude it out. And then apologies, let's cut that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, so the first thing we're going to do is set our work units, because at the moment they're in inches. So we click on the three lines next to Onshape, we go to workspace units, where it says inch, we're just going to go straight into millimeters. When that's done, we're going to go to sketch. The new plane, it's saying in blue, it says select the sketch plane, so we're going to select top, and we're going to draw from the top down the shape, the profile, and extrude that out. And now I'm going to go to the view cube, click top, so I'm looking directly at it. Now remember what our construction lines are, and that's what we're going to start with. So we're going to draw a rectangle that symbolizes the total amount of material you're allowed, okay, or that you have. So there's our rectangle there, and I'm going to add the dimension, so I can press D, or I can look across to the right and click that dimension, and we'll just get that ready. I think it was 150, press enter, again just wait a little, there you go, and D again, click that, and I think that was, we'll do 130. Okay, so that's done. Now obviously we're not actually going to be using all this material, and we're not making a square, so I'm going to turn this into a construction line. So there's the button there, Q for construction, or click that, click, press escape, press the construction line. Okay, and now we're going to click it. So now what I did is I selected all the lines and I pressed the construction button or the letter Q, and it turns those into construction lines. So now I draw my shape within the construction line box, and my shape that I've been demonstrating quite a lot has been a circle. Let's not go overlapping. So there's my circle. Now I'm going to unselect, select that, and go back into not a construction line. So there's the circle, and it's had a circle taken out of it. So here we can actually use the arc tool. I'm going to click the arc, click once, click twice, and then just bring that in a bit. Okay. Now the beautiful thing about Onshape as well, instead of like Illustrator and things, is that you can trim. So if we have a look at the trim button, which is the letter M, or the scissors, I can just trim that out. And there's the profile. Now it's pretty much done. All I need to do is make a hole for the pole. So I'm going to click the center point of a circle and just draw that hole there. And I know it's the wrong size, so go to dimension, click the circle, and just type in 10. And that's updated. Now we're making this out of planks of wood. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw rectangles that represent the planks of wood. Okay, these aren't going to be construction, these are going to be real. So it's about 23, and that one, and of course they are random, so you'll have to measure your own planks of wood. And these are the planks of wood, and as you can see, that now looks a bit more accurate. Okay, so it is going to look something like that. Okay, so let's stop that sketch. So press tick when you're happy with the sketch, and then we're going to go to a 3D view. So I just on that, so I was like that, and now I'm just going to click one of those corners. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to extrude. So that is Shift E, or the first button next to sketch, and we're going to select the alternates. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to do that, and I think the height is 23 for some people. Of course, you'll need to measure the wood first. And we're creating new solid, so that's okay. All right, now nothing's actually been deleted, it's just disappeared. So if we have a look onto our left hand side, we can see the sketch has got a little eye with the line through. So let's show that sketch again, and this time we're going to do it for the others. So we're now going to click, 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 and click. Okay, now if they're different sizes, you can put them as different sizes. I'm going to do them as different sizes because I think it looks pretty cool, so you don't need to. So I'll leave them as 25. If you said you didn't want them to be the same size, what we can do is we can go to 23. Now the problem is, what you've got to be very, very careful of is, if they're all one size, you might get the add button. Now if you get the add button, that whole piece becomes one piece of wood. So it's got to be new, so that they're all separate, and that means we can all assign them a different color. Okay, so let's do 25 and happy with that. Okay, so I've got extrusion 1, the first ones I did, extrusion 2, the second ones I did. Click that, right click, add appearance to the feature, and I'm just going to do that shade of brown. And then extrusion 2, right click, set appearance, and do a different shade of brown. So I've got 2 separate shades of brown. It doesn't look as realistic as Fusion, but it's a lot quicker, and if you're under the age of, I think, 14 or something with Fusion, you're just not allowed to use it anymore. Okay, done. So that's that. It's a little bit confusing. Why don't we hide the sketch so we can't see that? And we can actually already also hide some of these planes for the time being. And there we have it. Now you can actually right click and just spin that around. Have a look. There's the hole. So let's start with the pole. Now the pole's a little bit different to just standard extrusion. What we're going to do with the pole is we're going to do something called a sweep. In order for us to do a sweep, we need to draw a line that would represent the pole itself, and then we have to draw something called a profile, which would represent the material the pole is made from. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front plane so we can see the side. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to start a sketch. Okay, now the sketch plane is going to be front, and I'm going to draw what I want the lamp to do. So if I just start on that line somewhere, and I want it to come up, and then I want it to go across, and then I want it to go like a bit like that. Okay, and I'm happy with that. Press escape. I'm not gonna do the dimensions, but you should, because this is planning. The next thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna add the fillet. Okay, now we can't bend a 90-degree angle with the tube because it will snap in real life. So what we have to do is introduce the bend to it. So select the sketch fillet, the corner, or you can do the 2 lines, and then just move that to what you want. Okay, so that's pretty good and done. And we're going to do that again here. Come round. If it goes red, obviously you've gone past the initial, so it can't be done. And when you're happy with that, that's done. Okay, so that is what we're going to call, that is the shape or the path of the lamp. So now what we have to do is the profile. So we're going to finish that sketch. If we go back to 3D, you can see very lightly that is the path there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go sketch. We're going to select top, but we're not going to move to the top. We're just going to select top. We're going to select that circle, zoom in, and we're just going to draw. That's surprising. Normally I can do that. We're just going to draw a circle around the base of that path. Okay, we're going to add the dimension because the size of the pole diameter is 10, and it's actually hollow. So let's do an offset. So if I click this button here, click that, drag that arrow inwards, and it's actually about 1 millimeter thick. So there's the profile of the tube. So if I cut a very small slither and looked directly at the tube or through the tube, I would see that circle there. So let's now go to the sweep tool, sweep, click that, and it's going to say which what is the face. Well, this is the face, and the path. So select the path, select that, and zoom out, and this now it's coming up, and we want it to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. If you forget to select one in the middle, it won't work. So that's what it looks like, and if we just go there, you can see there's the tube. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to move this into place. So to do that, we're going to use the transform tool. That's the transform button there. We can wrap stuff, but we're just going to transform it. The entity is that's the body, and we can do a few things. We can translate by XYZ, which means to actually move it around. We can do that. That's not a problem. Another way we can do that is by transforming by the mate connector. So it says from there to there. Okay, and you can see that's just moved so that the circle is within the circle, and if you're happy with that, that is done. Now I'm actually going to move this pole slightly higher because of course we need the wire to come through there and then come out, and if it comes out like that, then we're going to have to add feet, and they're going to have to be quite big feet because the wire is quite thick. So what I do is I'm going to transform again. The entity is that. We're going to transform it by the XYZ, and we're going to just move it up slightly and press go. So now you can actually see press escape, I should be able to just move that around. Okay. Now I do actually want a hole for this to come through, so I can draw a little rectangle there so the wire can come out the back. So why don't we do that now? So sketch, and instead of selecting the planes here, I'm actually going to select the edge of that piece of wood. And now I'm going to look directly at it. I'm going to do the rectangle, so the rectangle's going from there to there. I'm happy with that. Zoom in, extrude, and what we're going to do is we're going to push that up, and as soon as I start pushing it, we want to remove it. Okay, so we're not adding, we're not creating a new block, we are removing that block or part of that block, and I want it moved just to the edge of that tube. Okay, so now the wire is going to come out and come through. Okay, so it will look like that around the back. However, around the front it will look like that, which I think is okay. Okay, so the next part is the lampshade. Now the lampshade I'm going to make is simply a cylinder with a hole, and we already know how to use the mate connectors to transform, so we'll do it that way. Now there are lots and lots of different ways to do shades, but because this is the introduction video, we're just going to do the simplest way first. So sketch, let's select the top again because that seems to be the easiest at the moment. So look at the top, go for your circle, and the first circle I'm going to do is the hole for the pole. Alright, so click that, go to your dimension tool, click this, press 10, should be quite good at doing that now. We can actually offset now, I believe, or we can just draw another circle, and we can say that that is going to be, I don't know, 30 or something. So let's do the dimension tool for that one. Let's make it 35. Okay, so that is going to be the base, a bit difficult, and we're just going to offset that one, bring it in, and that is going to be the wall of the shade. Okay, I find it easier to do all my sketches and then do my extrusions. Some people like to do it bit by bit. So the first thing we're going to do is make the base of the shades. So if we go extrude, and that will have that one and that one, and it will be, let's give it 3 mil. So we've got a bit of something to glue it to, and press OK. So that's 3 mil. Now our sketch has disappeared, so remember, I'm going to turn that back on. I'm going to extrude. That was a bit silly, I went and extruded it up. So select that, let's come back down, and I think 25 is pretty good, so let's just leave it at 25, and we're going to go forward. Now that has joined it, so that, did that join it? No, it didn't. Okay, so I've actually now got 2 separate extrusions, so you could have got around that by adding the add button to it instead of the new. But let's say this has happened, what can we do? So we can actually combine them. So this is called a Boolean in normal places. So why don't we try and do that? Combine, where is the damn tool for combine? God damn it. I want to join, and you can't. Why can't I join? It's bullshit. Oh. Okay, so I've actually got two separate pieces, and I want to join them. So if I click this one here, which is the two circles overlapping, Boolean, and it's a union, I'm going to join them together in union. Not going to subtract one from the other or do the intersection where you keep the part that's intersected. So this one is that one we're going to join, and hang on, stop that again. Boolean, the tool, and we are connecting it to that and that. Yeah, okay, done. That, I don't like that at all. We're not going to do Boolean. It's rubbish. Okay, so here's the Boolean tool. We're going to click that one. And okay, so with the base just done. So with the base just done, we're now going to turn sketch back on. Let's have a look at it. I probably did it the wrong way around. We're going to select the walls now. We're going to come up and we're going to add to that base. Okay, so that is one whole piece. And now we're going to move that. So the way to move it was to transform. We want to be able to see this circle here and this circle here. So we're going to transform by the mate from here, from this mate connector there to that mate connector there. Why are you being a dick? Being an asshole. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to extrude the walls of the shade. So let's turn that sketch back on. Let's have a look underneath. Go to extrude. Take that one down, and we're going to go the other side. I'm going to call that 25 on the other side. Now you can actually, instead of dragging it down, you could have just done that. And press go. So now we've got that entity there. Okay, and we are going to marry this with that. So we go to the transform. Entities is that one. From the mate connector there to the mate connector there. And that is the wrong way round, so just click that little arrow there and press done when you're happy with that, and that is your lamp. That is the basic lamp that you need to do. Okay, we'll just hide that last sketch so it's not confusing to you, and that is it.